Yernden Manor. Cheated? That's what we call it. The city fop gazed at him. I understood that the place was left to my great-uncle by a cousin of his. Third or fourth cousin. Barely a relation at all. Done just to spite my kin, who had a far better right to the place. Indeed. The word was spoken with one raised eyebrow and a brush of scepticism. The smug arrogance of it hit Gavin's roused temper like a lightning strike in dry brush. Before his brain could catch up with his primed emotions, he'd lunged forward and thrown a punch. The southerner blocked it with a raised forearm, moving startlingly fast. Gavin automatically followed up with another. The fellow leaned aside, dodging the blow without apparent effort. His fists were now raised in fine boxing form. He did not seem to be the effete bumbler Gavin had been pushed to confront, begging for a touch of home truth. Gavin hadn't intended to fight this duke. He wasn't some rude brawler. He was a respected man of property. But now, somehow, here he was, in the midst of a bout. The man's expert evasion of Gavin's blows, with no return, as if Gavin wasn't worth hitting, fed into his anger. He would just knock the fellow down, teach him a lesson as his mother had urged, and then stand back and walk away. Gavin launched a huge roundhouse right designed to lay the fellow out. But he wasn't there. Gavin's blow spun through thin air, leaving him flailing off balance. He lurched to keep his footing, tried to recover. Then something struck his cheek with stunning force and a cutting sting. Gavin fell hard onto his buttocks, and then flat on his back. For a moment he had to lie there, even though the Duke was stepping closer, possibly to give him a kick. Gavin's head spun, his senses reeled. A female figure pushed in front of the interloper. "Don't touch him!" she cried. Gavin groaned aloud. Of all the people in all the world, it had to be her. Of course it did. She was always just where one didn't wish her to be. Now here she was, to add to the humiliation of being knocked down by his enemy. "I do not need your help, Rose Denholme," he said from the ground. "It appears that you do, Gavin Keighley, since you're lying on the earth bleeding." "I am not bleeding." "You are," she insisted. Gavin sat up. His whirling head protested a little. Red drops fell onto the front of his greatcoat. "I believe the edge of my signet ring caught your cheek," said the Duke. His tone was dry, his accent like cut glass. "I don't wear it when I box, but I wasn't expecting a bout just now." Was the man mocking him? Did he dare? Was that a glint of amusement in his dark blue eyes? Gavin wanted to spring up and throttle him, but his head still rang from that impressive blow. He was not quite ready to get to his feet. Rose put her hands on her hips. "What did you think you were doing?" she asked Gavin. "Why are you here?" "Why are you?" "I happened by." Gavin scoffed. "If I might—" began the Duke. "You may not," said Rose. "I have nothing to say to those who cheated my family out of Yernden Manor." "Your family?" He looked from her to Gavin and back again. "Are you related, then? You do seem to have a good deal in common." "No," exclaimed Gavin. Rose said it at the same moment. They could agree on that, if nothing else. He had to stand up. He couldn't sit here looking up at the two of them like a small child. "Ah." The Duke adjusted his fancy overcoat. Feared he'd mussed it with a little action, Gavin assumed. "So if I understand you, both of your unrelated families believe they have some claim to Yernden Manor?" "Hers doesn't," snapped Gavin, lurching to his feet and swaying a little, once erect. "His doesn't," said Rose simultaneously, predictably. And then, like any two members of their families when they happened to meet, he and Rose descended into the morass of cousins and intermarriages and promised legacies and sly betrayals. It had been going on all Gavin's life, the never-ending dispute, though the wrangling had been growing worse in recent years, it seemed. The Denholme